Hey everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I super apologize. I'm just gonna see. I see some butter. Nope, I don't know. Sorry, I had too many windows open and it was interfering with my live. So I hope that you hop back on. I hope everybody can find it. I'll wait a minute or 5. I feel terrible. Terrible. I hope your day was good. Mine was busy. I just hope you can all find me. I'm so sorry if you can't. Let's talk real quick about self-care. Let's get started. So my name is Jamie Plogue, and I am the CEO and life coach at Embracing Chaos and Loving Every Minute of It. It's a business that I created. To really help other women break out of this shell of not being able to take care of themselves, always people pleasing, always comparing themselves, never loving themselves. All things I did, all things I struggled with. And so I have a life coach. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out if people can see me or not. I really hope they can. I have a life coach. I cried every second when she told me that I should be loving myself and choosing myself and doing things for myself. It was really hard. It was really, really hard. I have an invite. I don't see you on here, Mom, so I'm hoping that you're on here. I hope you can all find me, because I want you to find me. And it says I have no viewers. So I created Embracing Chaos. I'm going to see if I pop into here. It says I was live. Megan can see me. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Megan. Thank you for texting me, because I was really worried that nobody could find me because my computer says I have no viewers. And that was, okay. I will focus now. So I created Embracing Chaos because once she told me that I should be loving myself and I should be choosing myself and I should be doing self-care, I cried every second of my life coaching time with her because I had no idea. Second, I figured if I had no idea, somebody else didn't have any idea. And so it was a completely different mindset shift. And it was the one thing that completely saved my life. Completely made me a happy person, made me a better mom, made me a better wife, at the time a better teacher. And so tonight I just want to share that with you. So that is my short little introduction to who I am and why I do what I do. So why is self-care so important? Well, for all the reasons that I just said. Self-care, it's not selfish, really. It's all about survival. As moms, as busy women, as working women, it is a way for us to refuel and reset and show up as the best version of ourselves. So when we take our own care into our own needs, we are supporting our own well-being. This is all about ourselves. So we're supporting our well-being, We're improving how we show up for people and the responsibilities in our life. I believe it is the one thing that saved me when I was struggling, just as I said before. Hi, Mom. I know you're watching. You can just watch. If you have a question, I see that I have a comment, but I can't see it. So I'm hoping that if you comment, I get them. Otherwise, I'm going to try to watch on my phone. So why does it really matter? You can't pour from an empty cup, which I hate that saying, but it is so true. You can't. Burnout, exhaustion, and overwhelm are real. A lot of us live it every single day. I know that my kids being on a track team, 2 softball teams, showing cattle, starting to farm, finishing calving, starting breeding, all of those things, like it's real. Burnout is real. Self-care is what kind of keeps me going. It reconnects you to me. And that's really important. In a world that's constantly pulling to get our attention away from ourselves and pulling it outward, going back in, checking in with how you think you're doing, how are you feeling, that's really important. And it reduces your stress and builds resistance. Who doesn't love building resistance and reducing stress? It's definitely a way to manage your stress. So the first thing we have to do with self-care, we have to create awareness. We have to assess our awareness and how we feel we're doing. So the assessment is finding your true north. Self-awareness is your internal compass. When you are aware of how you feel, what you need, and what affects you, you can stop reacting on autopilot and start responding with intention. It's all about being very intentional. And I know it's going to feel at first like one more thing. One more thing. And it's going to be really easy to push off because as moms, as busy women, we always push off. I'm really sorry for my camera autofocusing. We always push off our own needs. But your needs are the ones that should be first. So it's important because you figure out when you go inward and when you self-assess, you figure out what drains you and what restores you, what triggers you and what centers you, what matters and what is just noise. Because there's a lot in this world that's just noise. Self-care becomes aligned. It's not random. And I have notes upon notes. You cannot heal what you don't acknowledge. If you don't acknowledge what is going on, what you're struggling with, what is depleting your energy, what is taking away from you, you can't heal that part of you. A lot of people just want to go take a bath or go get their nails done. And I love that. And all of those things are self-care, 100%. But it's the little everyday consistency that is going to be the biggest life changer for you. Recognizing your emotional burnout, not ignoring it. Realizing your productivity is masking anxiety. And that seeing your body's exhaustion is actually deeper than poor sleep. Awareness brings clarity, and clarity makes healing possible. So if we were to work together, that would be something that you and I would be working on, would be to be self-assessing and to be gaining clarity as to why these things are happening. You learn your version of self-care. As I tell every single person who works with me, there's not a one-size-fits-all self-care. Like, I can't just say, here you go. I can give you ideas, but ultimately you have to do it and you have to make it your own. Everybody is a little bit different, so things are going to hit differently for everybody. But if you're feeling socially drained or emotionally isolated, you're going to do things differently. Do you need to move your body, or maybe you need to let it rest? And it will change day to day. It gives you a personalized self-care blueprint. And only you know the key. For me, mine is journaling. My key journal every day, go for a walk, and then read 20 minutes out of a book that is going to grow me. Those are my self-care things, and I like repetition. I like things that I can count on. Some people don't. Some people like something different every day because they don't want mundane, and that's okay too. But self-awareness is where self-care begins. The session, slow down. It's about getting curious. It's tuning into what's going on inside, emotionally, mentally, physically, because once we know, that's where the care can actually begin, and we can dig in. So the next is emotional. How are you feeling? Emotional self-care is recognizing and understanding and expressing your emotions in a healthy way. It's not about yelling. It's not about causing a fight. It's not about screaming. It's about building your emotional intelligence, setting boundaries, and learning how to be present with your feelings. Why does it matter? Well, helps you prevent emotional burnout, builds resilience and increasing emotional regulation, deepens your relationship with yourself and others, creates space for vulnerability and growth. I can't count the amount of clients I have that come to me and say, I don't love that I always yell at my kids, or that I'm always short with my husband, or significant other, or maybe coworkers. And part of that emotional regulation is being out of whack with your emotional self-care. So some common signs that you need it. You numb, scrolling Facebook, you do something to emotionally numb yourself when you are overwhelmed and easily triggered. You're taking on other people's feelings as your own. A lot of times we do that. And we often feel guilt, shame, and resentment that we can't pinpoint. So how could we get in touch with our emotions? By journaling and to process emotions. That's my favorite one. Talking to somebody, practicing emotional boundaries. It's okay to say no, people. I'm giving you permission right here. It's okay to say no. Allowing yourself to cry or laugh without judgment. Affirmations and affirming your worth. So, something right there. Physical care. Physical care is something that a lot of people also come to me and tell me that they really struggle with. So it's about listening and honoring your body's needs. It includes movement, rest, nutrition, hydration, touch, sleep, all of those pieces, all of those things that can drain your energy or give you energy. So why it matters? Because your body stores stress, trauma, and tension. Poor physical care impacts mental and emotional well-being, and rest and nourishment, they're just not optional. You need them. They are foundational. 100%. Common signs you need it. Exhausted, achy, disconnected from your body, skip meals, sleep poorly, ignore hunger, thirst cues. You are constantly in go mode, but you feel drained. Examples of physical self-care: stretching, going to sleep earlier. I know that's one of my favorites. Drinking more water. That is something a lot of people don't do, is drinking enough water. Taking a bath. I always like to say, when I am really struggling, I always stop and think, okay, if my body could speak to me right now, what would it say? What would it need? If my body was a toddler, or my body was my 9-year-old daughter, what would it say? Then I always usually think, what's one way I can thank it? What can I thank it for? So together, if we have our emotions and we have our physical self-care in check, we're going to create a stronger foundation for every other type of self-care that comes: the mental, the spirit, the social, and the practical. Mental really is about tending to your inner landscape. Mental is about your thoughts, focus, stress level. If you have your emotions in check, and if you have your physical well-being in check, mental becomes very easy because you are tending to everything else. And so there's not a lot of stress in your mindset. Your thoughts shape your experience of the world. Have you ever heard the saying, your perception is your reality? because it is. Mental overload can lead to anxiety, burnout, and decision fatigue. Caring for your mind helps you stay present, may be inspired, and emotionally regulated. All things that, as moms and as busy women, we truly, truly want and hope for. Things, you know the drill. You know what it feels like when you're not mentally there. You feel foggy, scattered, you're easily overwhelmed, you're overthinking, you're mentally stuck, you struggle to get focus. Just being really intentional with maybe screen breaks is a good way that you can give yourself some mental self-care. Limiting your social media. I really struggle with that one because I run my business through social media, and so I have to be really careful of ingesting so much social media, but I do actually do that. Journaling, practicing mindfulness, meditation is one of my favorites. I don't create meditations myself. I just go to YouTube and figure out what I'm needing. Sometimes I'm needing like a motivation meditation. Sometimes I'm needing a calm down, relax, recenter. Replacing your harsh self-talk and compassion with curiosity. And I have a really good exercise for that we do in my coaching class. So something you can think about when you are not feeling mentally okay is, what is one thought or belief that is taking up too much space? And how can I shift it into something supportive? That is something that we do practice. How can I shift it? How can I move it? I was just going to see if there was anything on here. Okay. Let's move into spiritual self-care. Spiritual, it's about going deeper. So it can be about your faith. It can be about your purpose. It can be about nature, your inner peace, your values that guide your life. It doesn't have to be religion. It can be religion, but it doesn't have to be. So it just brings, why does it matter? Because it brings meaning to your life. In times of stress, in times of change, it kind of puts things into perspective that maybe are out of perspective. A lot of times you're going to feel disconnected, lost, unfulfilled. That's how you're going to know. Spending time in nature or observing the present moment, meditating, praying, journaling, intentions, reading, text. Okay, so what helps me feel grounded and connected? That's a really good question. And if you have more questions on the spiritual self-care, connect and align, we can talk about it. But I think it's just really important to know that it's not really a one-size-fits-all category either. It's whatever you find a deep sense of purpose in. Something that guides your life. For a lot of people, it's religion. But it's really exploring your core values and how you live them. And then something you can ask yourself is, what helps me feel grounded and connected? How do I get more of that into my life? The next one is social self-care. I'm not saying you have to fix all of these or do all of these. I just want you to be aware that there are different kinds of self-care. And so then when you're doing something for yourself every day, or maybe when something isn't feeling right, maybe this is a connection for you. But social self-care, connect, communicate, and belong. Nourishing those friendships, those relationships that support and energize you. I know I hadn't gone out with a friend in a very long time. And I had just had lunch on Monday with a friend, and let me tell you, it was the best 3 hours I've ever spent in my whole life. Just chatting and just being us and not having to be a mom. And it was just nice, and it rejuvenated me for the rest of the day. So why does it matter? It's because we as humans are wired for connection. Community is part of healing. Healthy relationships protect against stress and loneliness. Now there are different levels of connection. There are different levels of needing people in your life. I understand that. So you have to know what's right for you. But you deserve relationships that are reciprocal, safe, and fulfilling. How do you know you don't need it? Well, you're going to feel lonely. You're going to feel drained. You're going to feel unsupported. Ways that you can do some self-care. Spend time with someone who lifts you up. Ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. 100% it's okay to ask for help. Set boundaries on draining relationships. A lot of times we have somebody who is a joy sucker, and so setting boundaries with on those draining relationships are really good. Saying no without guilt. Guilt is man-made. And saying yes with intention. So, asking yourself, who makes me feel safe and seen? Who do I need to hang out with? Who do I need to connect with? Do you know the easiest way for you to find some joy is by picking up the phone and calling somebody you haven't talked to in a while? Like somebody who was your friend, is your friend, that you haven't connected with in a long time, and you pick up the phone and you talk to them. The most instant little boost in your happiness. All right, so let's talk just a little bit about it's called practical self-care, but it is your house, your bills, the way you organize things. It's just handling the everyday stuff. Because when we continue to let it pile up, that's when it feels like it's crushing. And the chaos adds a mental load to us that we don't always necessarily love. So, how do we know we're going to need it? We feel scattered, overwhelmed by tasks. We just feel like there's a lot going on. We procrastinate and everything feels bigger, or you're constantly playing catch up. How do you kind of get around this? I know this kind of seems like one too that a lot of moms come to me with is like, what do I do? The only way to get ahead, the only way to find the balance, the only way to feel good in this category is to do the little things. For me it is, and I think my notepad is out in the kitchen because I was just working on recipes. It's meal planning. I meal plan out the whole week. I write down the schedule for the whole week. I plan it out. I already know tomorrow night we're having leftovers because the fridge is full of leftovers. So I don't even have to cook tomorrow night. I've cooked 4 nights in a row. There's plenty of leftovers. So that mental load is gone. I know what we're having for supper on Friday night when it's a no meat night. I know what we're having for lunch on Friday when it's a no meat lunch because we are Catholic. So I've created a weekly schedule and a meal plan. I've gotten the groceries. All the groceries are here, so I don't have to run out and get anything. I live too far away from the grocery store for that. Some people don't, and that's fine. But just setting things up for like on this day and this day I'm going to pay my bills. On this day and this day I'm going to clean the house or whatever. But sticking to a routine will help kind of just take that mental load off of you. A prompt that you can ask yourself would be, what's one small task? Like I'm not gonna climb the mountain. I'm not gonna climb the mountain next week. I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna do that one thing next week, and that one thing is gonna make my life so much better that the next week I'm gonna want to do one more thing, and keep building with one more thing. All right. So how do we integrate all of these things? Because I've thrown the 6 ways that we have to practice self-care. We do not have to practice all of those self-cares every day. But that was just kind of breaking them down a little bit and giving you some different ideas. So how do we integrate this? Integration is about taking all of your reflections and turning them into sustainable and intentional habits. It's not about perfection. It's okay if you miss a week meal planning. I do it all the time. We figure it out. It's not smooth operating, and it takes on my mental load, and so then it makes me want to plan the next week, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It's just about making your self-care practice feel natural, nourished, and doable. That's it. Just building a habit. So consistency builds self-trust, which is huge. Huge when you're keeping promises to yourself. And then it's not about doing everything, but it's doing what works for you, what makes you feel good, what brings you joy, what makes you feel better. So small steps add up to powerful change, 100%. Signs that you're integrating well. You're going to notice that you're balanced, and you respond with care. Self-care will feel less like a chore and more like a check-in, and more like it's just part of my life. It's just something that I have to do. I can tell you that when I worked with a life coach and she brought up self-care and she brought up journaling and she brought up a few other things, it was really hard. And now I can't imagine my life without it. And then examples of integration would be creating like a self-care menu, to revisit when you're not feeling very balanced, schedule check-ins with yourself. Weekly, but really daily. Weekly at first and then go daily. Choose one type of self-care to kind of focus on. I don't think that you should focus on one type. I think you should focus on what you need to feel better about first, and kind of swim through that ocean. And then ask a friend to be your accountability partner, and then just continually working on and reflecting on what's working, what's not working, what needs to be changed, what makes me feel good, what doesn't make me feel good. Find some non-negotiables, some things that are non-negotiable, that you definitely aren't gonna forget. So that's all the information part of it. But for you, you want to send me your email address either in a DM or on the email. You will get this nice self-guided awareness checklist. So it kind of goes through your mood and your energy, what's been taking up space, what do you need right now, one loving action, and then how do you make it firm. It's called an anchor phrase. Then I kind of gone over the 6 types of self-care, and I've come up with a 7-day little challenge for you just to kind of get the ball rolling in the first week, and a list of, well, you can't really see it, but self-care ideas. So if you want to drop me your email address, because I'm super not techie and that's the only way I know how to get it to you, I would love to do that. I would love to share that with you. So that's a freebie for hopping on and watching, whether you watch it live or you watch the replay. Either way, I don't see any questions. I'm going to see on my approve everybody. Oh, now I can see people. Okay. So how do you get over the guilt of taking self-care? Ooh, I'm so glad. If I can pause myself, because I can't see them on my computer, but now I see them here. Okay, I'll just pause it. Okay, so how do you get over guilt? You just do. I know that's super not helpful, Colleen. I know it's not. But something that I teach is that guilt is man-made. So the only person who's making you feel guilty is you. And the only reason you're feeling guilty is based off of everything in your past life that you have experienced and learned up until now. So when you are learning to participate in self-care, you are learning a new skill. And so by flipping it into, I'm not really taking the time away from anything, but I am adding value and I am adding to myself so I can take care of everything. I really hope that is helping. I love you all, that you stuck with me in my non-technology love. I appreciate you so much, because on here it says I have 2 viewers. On my phone it says I have more, so I super appreciate you all. But Colleen, I really do hope that helps you, and if you want to talk more about it, I'm in. See if I can comment. I can't, of course. I will put in here my website that you can get a hold of me through email. And we can have a 30-minute, I offer everybody a free 30-minute little chat via Zoom. It can be when it works for you. My calendar is linked in there, so you can get into my calendar and see what I have available, what would be work for you. We can chat 30 minutes, a little bit more in depth on that topic. I don't see any more comments. And I think I got all the questions. I appreciate you all sticking with me. I appreciate you all being here. I hope that helped you. Please reach out in any way, shape, or form. I am happy to chat. Like I said, everybody gets a 30-minute little free chat if you want to chat about something, if you have questions, if you just want to know anything that I've talked about, or maybe you don't want to know anything I've talked about and have a different question. I just don't want to miss anybody's questions. So if I have missed your question, I will reach out personally and give you an answer. But technology is never my friend. Even when I was teaching for the last 14 years, technology was never my friend. So I appreciate you all for being with me as I stumble through this. Have the best night. Decide how you're going to try to do some self-care tomorrow. And let me know if you have any questions. Bye, guys.